What if capturing the love of your life required wrestling a shape-shifting sea goddess who could transform into fire, water, and wild beasts? In the depths of Greek mythology lies one of the most physically demanding courtships ever recorded. The story of how a mortal hero named Peleus won the hand of Thetis, a powerful sea nymph, through sheer determination and an epic wrestling match that would shake the very foundations of Mount Olympus. In ancient Greece, around the 8th century BCE, storytellers wove tales that explained the mysteries of their world while exploring the complex relationships between gods and mortals. These myths weren't just entertainment. They were cultural blueprints that taught lessons about honor, persistence, and the consequences of divine intervention in human affairs. The Greeks believed that their heroes could achieve the impossible through courage and unwavering resolve, even when facing supernatural forces beyond mortal comprehension. Our story begins with Peleus, king of the Myrmidons in Thessaly, a region in northern Greece known for its fierce warriors and rugged coastline. Peleus wasn't just any ordinary mortal. He was a hero who had sailed with Jason and the Argonauts in their quest for the Golden Fleece. His reputation for bravery and strength had spread throughout the Mediterranean world, but his greatest challenge still lay ahead. Thetis, daughter of the ancient sea god Nereus, was among the most beautiful and powerful of the 50 Nereids, sea nymphs who dwelt in the depths of the Aegean Sea. Unlike mortal women, Thetis possessed the ability to change her shape at will, transforming into any creature or element she desired. Her silver hair flowed like ocean currents, and her eyes held the depth and mystery of the deepest seas. She could command waves, speak with dolphins, and her very presence could calm the most violent storms. But Thetis carried a terrible burden, a prophecy that would change the course of history. The fates had decreed that any son born to Thetis would grow to be more powerful than his father. This prophecy sent shockwaves through the divine realm when it reached the ears of Zeus, king of the gods, who had been pursuing the beautiful sea nymph himself. Realizing the danger this prophecy posed to his own supremacy, Zeus made a calculated decision. Rather than risk fathering a son who might one day overthrow him, he decreed that Thetis must marry a mortal man. The child of such a union would be mighty among humans, but could never threaten the divine order of Olympus. The wise centaur Chiron, teacher of heroes, advised Peleus about this unprecedented opportunity. He revealed the secret location where Thetis would come to rest during her travels. A secluded cove along the coast of Thessaly, where ancient olive trees provided shade and fresh water springs bubbled up from underground caverns. Chiron warned Peleus that winning Thetis wouldn't be a matter of courtship or persuasion. The sea nymph had no desire to marry any mortal, viewing humans as brief, fragile creatures unworthy of her immortal attention. The only way to claim her hand would be through physical capture, holding her fast, despite whatever form she might take to escape. As dawn broke over the Aegean Sea, Peleus positioned himself in the sacred cove, his muscles tense with anticipation. The morning mist began to clear, revealing Thetis emerging from the waves like a vision from another world. Her skin gleamed with droplets of seawater that caught the early sunlight like scattered diamonds. Without hesitation, Peleus lunged forward and wrapped his powerful arms around the startled sea nymph. The moment his hands touched her divine flesh, Thetis exploded into action, beginning the most extraordinary wrestling match in mythological history. First, she transformed into a writhing serpent, her coils tightening around Peleus's body as venomous fangs snapped mere inches from his face. But the hero held firm, his grip never loosening despite the crushing pressure that threatened to shatter his ribs. When the serpent form failed to break his hold, Thetis became a massive lioness, her claws raking across Peleus's back, while her roars shook the very cliffs surrounding the cove. Still, the determined king maintained his grip, blood streaming from numerous wounds, but his resolve unshaken. The sea nymph's transformations came faster now. A giant octopus with tentacles like ship's cables, an enormous bird of prey with talons sharp as bronze spears, a raging wildfire that singed Peleus's hair and clothes but could not burn away his determination. Thetis shifted into rushing water, trying to slip through his fingers like a mountain stream. She became cutting wind that howled around him with hurricane force. She transformed into ice so cold that frost formed on Peleus's skin, then into molten metal that should have burned him to ash. For what seemed like hours, the supernatural wrestling match continued. Peleus's hands became raw and bleeding, his body battered by claws, flames, and crushing forces that would have killed lesser men. Yet something beyond physical strength sustained him, an unbreakable will and the knowledge that this struggle would determine not just his own fate, but the destiny of generations to come. Finally, as the sun reached its peak in the Mediterranean sky, Thetis's transformations began to slow. The constant shape-shifting was draining even her divine energy. In a last desperate attempt, she became a cuttlefish, her ink clouding the air in thick black clouds that obscured everything around them. But Peleus held on, guided more by touch than sight. His grip adapted to whatever form she took. At last, Thetis returned to her natural shape, exhausted and defeated. She looked up at the mortal man who had proven himself through such extraordinary persistence and strength. In that moment, something unexpected happened. As Thetis gazed into Peleus's eyes, she saw not just determination, but genuine respect and admiration. This mortal hadn't sought to dominate or humiliate her. He had simply refused to give up on winning her love through the only means available to him. Recognizing his worthiness, Thetis spoke her acceptance. The sea around them calmed to mirror stillness, and dolphins appeared to sing their blessing. Even the gods of Olympus acknowledged this union, sending gifts to honor the wedding that would unite mortal courage with divine power. Their wedding became legendary throughout Greece. Zeus himself attended, along with all the major gods and goddesses. The celebration lasted for days, with music from Apollo's lyre and wine that flowed like rivers. The gifts included magical armor crafted by Hephaestus and prophecies about their future son's greatness. That son would be Achilles, the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, whose strength and speed would become legendary, but whose mortality would fulfill the ancient prophecy in tragic ways. Through Peleus's victory in that wrestling match, the entire course of Greek heroic legend was set in motion. The story of Peleus and Thetis teaches us that true achievement requires more than just wanting something. It demands unwavering persistence in the face of seemingly impossible obstacles. Peleus succeeded not because he was the strongest man alive, but because he refused to quit when others would have given up. This myth also explores the theme of worthiness. Thetis could have escaped at any time by diving into the deep ocean where no mortal could follow. She chose to stay and fight because she recognized something admirable in Peleus's character, a quality that proved he deserved her love despite the vast difference in their natures. The wrestling match between Peleus and Thetis has inspired countless works of art, literature, and drama throughout history. Renaissance painters depicted the dramatic struggle, while modern writers have used it as a metaphor for the challenges we face in pursuing our deepest dreams and desires. Today, this ancient story reminds us that the most worthwhile achievements in life often require us to hold on when everything seems to be working against us, to persist when the odds appear impossible, and to prove our worthiness through actions rather than words. Sometimes winning the prize means being willing to wrestle with forces far beyond our normal capabilities and never letting go of what matters most.